Well, as you can see, this week it's not Wine of the Week, it's Wines of the Week. Because over the next 3 weeks, in the run-up to Christmas, I'm going to take a look at a few wines each week, representing categories that a lot of people buy only once per year for Christmas time. This week we're starting with fortified wines, wines made with the addition of a little bit of brandy or spirit to raise the alcohol and generally to leave sweet wines. We're sticking very much to classics this week. There are fantastic fortified wines made in Australia and South Africa and in lots of other places, but I'm sticking this week to 3 of the absolutely most classic origins of fortified wine. That is port from Portugal, Madeira from the Portuguese island of the same name, and sherry from the south of Spain. Kicking off with Madeira, and this is the Blandy's Alvada 5-year-old Madeira. It sells for around about £11.50 to £12. It's in a number of retailers, including Ocado and Waitrose. And I'm going to put a list at the end of the video as to exactly who I can find who stocks it currently. So a 5-year-old Madeira. It means it's not exactly 5 years old, but it has an average age of around then. Some wines in this blend may be older, but spends a long time in oak casks to mature and develop this lovely kind of tawny burnished colour. This, I would say, is a pre-dinner drink for me. It is nutty. It's undeniably sweet, but it has that lovely kind of walnutty warmth. A raisined character, a little bit of marmalade in there, the nice bittersweet cut of Seville orange marmalade. All those flavours which are dark, nutty, prune-like, roasted, so appetising, so delicious. But for me, I'm going to suggest to you that this would be the perfect aperitif on Christmas morning. Sophisticated aperitif with your mince pies, or in my case with a nice bowl of salted almonds, something just delicious to sip a wine like this. It's a cracking wine, a great example of a Madeira in a modern style, and selling for around about £11 to £12 for that 50 cl bottle. Moving on to a classic port. This is a late bottled vintage port. It's the Quinta de Noval, late bottled vintage 2009. It's an unfiltered wine. Now, Noval's one of the great port houses, I mean, one of the seriously good ones, and their late bottled vintage, meaning the wine has spent a number of years in casks before bottling, is one of the best, and it's one that can age also, so there's no need to drink this right now, although it's so delicious that you may well decide to do so. The wine is costs around about £17. Berry Brothers have it under their own label, bottled by Noval. You can also find it in a number of independent retailers and in Ocado, and I believe in Oddbins, all around that £17 to £18 mark. So you can see the colours dramatically different, much darker, a much more youthful wine, and a fantastic nose, redolent of floral notes, cherry and herbs, a lovely kind of violet touch to this too, really just attractive. Very, very kind of lifted notes, which are very ethereal, but a lovely black fruit beneath. And on the palate, beautifully sweet. It's very smooth, this wine. It's very harmonious. There's a chocolatey kind of density to the wine in the palate. A chocolatey bit of that bittersweetness too. Ultra sweet, ripe black fruit, but a nice little bit of tannin. A really sophisticated wine. Have this with your Stilton by all means after dinner. Have it as an after dinner drink, and it's an absolute beauty of a late bottled vintage port. And finally, moving over to Spain and to one of the classics, to Jerez, the sherry region in the south of Spain, and a Pedro Jimenez. This is the Barbadillo Pedro Jimenez. It sells for around about £10.75 to £12 per bottle. Again, there are a number of retailers. Cheapest I could find is the Wine List Company at £10.75, but it's also in Adnams and in Slurp and in a few other places. So made from the Pedro Jimenez grape, dried to raisin the grapes to get that extra sweetness. And this is always wonderful stuff. It has a kind of mahogany dark colour, a lovely nose, stewed prunes and raisins, but so delicious, so deep. Tobacco notes also, very inviting. And in the mouth, well, it's as thick as engine oil. It's like you've put a big handful of beautiful sultanas and raisins through a liquidizer, but added a little bit of extra tannin, a little bit of extra acidity, a lovely coffee-ish, cappuccino-like smokiness to this too. An absolutely riveting wine, as all of these Pedro Jimenez wines are, and a little goes a long way. Fantastic to have with your sweetest desserts. This is the one to have with your Christmas pud, or with any dark sticky toffee pudding style of dessert. So we have a wine for you, a Madeira from the Blandy's company, the Alvada 5-year-old, at around £12 for before dinner. We have a port, the late bottled vintage 2009 from the Noval company, at around £18 for after dinner. And with the Christmas pud, why not the Barbadillo Pedro Jimenez Sherry at around about £11, and a perfect Christmas drink. These are my wines of the week.